Welcome back, Sports Card Culture Podcast number 28. This is a fun one. Adrian Peterson represent.
The Adrian Peterson Podcast, number 28.
June 3rd, 2021. Here we are, John. What's up?
All right, so I know we talked about a little bit about what we're going to talk about, but we never said anything about order. Do you just want to dive into just some couple topics and then go into market movies?
I'd love to talk about the NBA. I mean, we got a game on right now.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I thought of it the other day, and I was like, I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Okay.
Because I'm good at doing that, and I don't just blurt things out before the podcast starts.
You're right.
So here's my question. So with the Hawks-Knicks series,
Yes.
with all the drama and a lot of it centering around Trae Young,
Yep.
okay? Which, by the way, the chant about his hairline is I always found those really humorous because anytime you can insult somebody with the easiest insult that takes no creativity,
Yep.
for some reason those hurt the most. I don't understand that. You think like, oh, that's easy, it's not even creative, but that's just like you just take the one thing and just
I think Trae Young would take a win in the series and
over.
it's like I always say this at the
here's my
poker
question.
I always say this at the poker table. You can call me whatever you want if I'm stacking the chips. It's like he's like, hey, I'm winning the game. I don't care what you call me.
Don't call me Shirley. So my question is, so if you remember back in the 90s, you had the Reggie Miller, Spike Lee,
Yes.
what have you, right?
Huge drama.
I mean, that's
Madison
a
Square
big
Garden,
story.
yes.
They do it on ESPN.
Yep.
I think that story gets integrated in like 7 30 for 30s.
Yeah.
7 different ones. Like
Yeah.
Bo Jackson all of a sudden, like, oh, yeah, when Bo Jackson got injured, that night, that game, like that, right?
Yep.
Didn't do anything for Reggie Miller's cards,
Sure.
right? So my question is, if Trae Young doesn't win the finals, you would think all this attention would be helpful for cards. Just attention, be like, oh yeah, he daggered the Knicks. I'm gonna buy some of his cards, right?
Yep.
But if he doesn't win the final, is it just a nothing? Card-wise?
No, I think he takes a huge step forward. It's his first playoff series, you know what I mean, in his career, and I think he's stepped up and played for all the young
Are you
guys.
arguing short term then?
I'm arguing there's a ton of dynamics that move cards. I think first championship does a lot, but I think even before that, like Luka right now, like playing well in a series, like carrying a team, like Trae's carrying the Hawks, I think does a lot to just validate their early career.
So
like Jordan didn't
You
win.
think Trae will get a bump off of the theory?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he
attention
will yet because the market's still down. But I will say this much: I got some trays back from PSA, and they sold right away. They didn't sell for the prices that
what
they
they
previously
were,
had.
but the fact that they sold right away.
But the
should tell
fact
you
they
something.
sold, right? I mean, so speed of sale. I just sold a
Right.
big Luka today that a PSA 10 fast break that they were up to about 4,000. We got 3,100 for it, but he's still selling because he's playing
Right.
well. So I mean, had he not be playing well, I don't even know if he'd
I
sell.
think my premise was probably more of a long-term basis because I can't tell you what was happening during the series, and there was no eBay.
Yeah.
So how do I?
Well, I'll say this.
Were people at the card shows in Indiana just buying up Reggie Miller after the series? I don't know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
Now that
I don't
about
think Reggie doesn't get a lot of hobby love. There's not that strong of a following. Now, I will say this: Trae Young's not going to win the finals, so we don't need to worry about that.
Right.
But I think him playing even the next series competitively, I think will be huge.
And who are they playing next? Do you think?
Well, they're going to be playing the.
Or do we know? I don't know.
No, they're going to be playing the Sixers if the Sixers win. Have the Sixers already clinched that series? Yeah, they already beat the Wizards.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
So they'll play the
so,
Sixers. So you think? Well, we were talking about Ben Simmons before we started taping.
Yeah.
So with Embiid out,
Yeah, so Embiid,
they might be able to beat the Sixers then.
Yeah, there's a bunch of huge injuries right now. So you had Anthony Davis out. Now you have Embiid, I think, indefinitely. Out.
Knee, right?
Luka didn't miss a game, but he was hurt with a neck injury. Didn't play very well in Game 5. So I mean, that's it. Right now, looking at the East and the West, other than Brooklyn, there's not a team that has finals pedigree other than Kawhi. No one else has even won.
You think there's no star?
There's no star who's done it.
Because the Lakers aren't.
Yeah.
No,
LeBron's
they're fighting.
done.
They're
yeah,
fighting.
They're done. I mean, I don't think they're.
Who else would have the pedigree? Yeah.
I mean, Curry already got knocked out.
The
so
Jazz don't have pedigree.
There's no. It's actually somebody will probably come out of the West that's very young, and that team and those guys will get a bump. It would be my
and you were saying before we were taping that you're real excited for the Nets Bucks series coming up.
I think it's going to be the best series of the entire playoffs, just because the Bucks are very good defensively. They rebound really well. They don't have the ability to score on Brooklyn's level, but they probably have the opportunity to slow them down more than anybody else.
Okay.
And so I think it will be a better series than the Eastern Conference Finals and probably even the Finals.
Well, you know what's funny is I've had a lot of conversations about this with my customers in the last couple of weeks is about how when you're holding on the hobby when the playoffs come and your team's out, and since we're Timberwolves fans, our team is always out. So it happens a lot. So what'll happen is a game will come on and someone will go, "Oh, who are you going for?" And I'm going, let's see, I got about 30 rookies of that guy, and then I got only like 2 of that. Okay, I know what team I'm rooting for.
Right.
Yeah, I just root for whoever I'm holding the most.
Nice.
So so I'm rooting for the Bucks.
Yep.
Because we got the Dallas show, we got National in Chicago, we got Des Moines. I think there's a lot of Bucks fans, and I would like overheated Bucks fans buying cards. And I don't have a lot of good Giannis, but if the Nets win, there's not going to be that local push anyway. So no, Durant will probably. Or do you think he's already priced in?
I think there's something about being priced in, but I think if Durant wins and goes to 3, he goes into a pretty elite category of guys who have 3.
Because we saw that last year with LeBron, where everybody was like, if he wins the finals, he's gonna, move up, and he didn't. He stayed flat because the concept was everybody priced in he was gonna win, and so it was either he's gonna stay flat, or he's gonna go down.
Yeah.
And he won, so he stayed flat.
So here's why I think it might be a little different for Durant. Is Durant's actually been going down while he wasn't playing. Now he's back playing, and I think so. He wasn't in the playoffs last year, so we haven't seen him in the postseason for 2 years since he got hurt with Golden State. And so you have a new fan base. If the Brooklyn Nets win a championship, I think this is their first.
New York win. Oh yeah, right there, New York winning.
New York winning.
We're not talking Milwaukee. We're talking New freaking York. Yeah.
So and the Nets have never won. They've never won a title. So it's going to be the first basketball title. It would be the first basketball title for New York for how long? And
then Milwaukee's never won either.
Right. So.
And then you don't think anybody's coming out of the West that can take out.
I don't think anybody
can
beat. No, I don't think there's anybody that can beat the Nets.
And then, is there anybody that would beat the Bucks if the Bucks won?
The Bucks would be a different matchup. It would probably come down to the team that can guard Giannis the best. Mm-hmm. And make the rest of the supporting cast, Middleton and Holiday, and DiVincenzo's out now, so hopefully you sold your gold.
I did not.
John didn't take my
It has to be listed for it to sell, Clint.
I thought you were doing that last week, you said.
I was planning. I was thinking about it.
Oh, you were thinking about it. Nice.
So, so you think that it's not you think it's a foregone conclusion if it's Nets, but there may be teams that can match up with the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't like the Bucks don't shoot that well. Nobody shoots like Brooklyn shoots. No one has that caliber of scoring. So it's going to come down to who can possibly D them up. And the Bucks are very strong rebounding team. They're very big.
Wow.
Lopez, Bobby Portis, and Giannis are all big, 7-footers and stuff. So I'll be curious to see how the Brooklyn bigs do. But, I'm more excited for that series probably than any other series until the finals.
Here's something that surprised me was when Anthony Davis went down on the Lakers, I was really surprised that Drummond didn't take over. He's been putting it nothing.
Yeah, Drummond and LeBron look
That's weird though, right? Drummond's got a lot of talent, and he has the ability. I've seen him take over games.
Yeah.
But he won't do it night in, night out.
Yeah, and Ayton's played him pretty tough. The Suns.
You think maybe it's Ayton credit, not a Drummond?
Yeah, I think so.
Deficiency.
Yeah. I'm excited to see LeBron lose. LeBron.
I'm holding LeBron.
I'm heavily invested in LeBron. Very heavily invested. I don't think his market changes at all because of him losing, especially if Davis is.
Well, actually, that kind of goes in something else I want to talk about. So a few podcasts ago, we talked about LeBron's statements in the media and what that could do for his cards and how it might depress his cards a little bit. And I've noticed since that conversation, two things have happened. One, from social media, there are no LeBron defenders anywhere. Everybody's just bashing him left and right for the political comment.
Sure. And
no one's trying to defend him, which is weird because it's the opposite of how culture is from a left-right perspective.
Right.
So I thought that was a little weird. But then, even more than that,
his antics.
The thing that people hate more than politics is his flopping and acting like a baby.
A girl.
Yes, a little fragile child.
Yes.
And so now I'm going to put it back to you again. We talked about it before. Yeah. Does the flopping and the whininess hurt his cards?
Yes, absolutely. I think I remember reading this Facebook quote, and it struck me as like Jordan and Kobe, when they were hurt, tried to convince other teams they weren't, and kind of vice versa. It's like LeBron's very like manipulative of the referees in a way that's just obnoxious to watch. Like he's always
barking
talking, whining. He's never, literally, according to him, he's never faulted someone in his life. Like, there's never been a fault
I saw that last
where
year.
LeBron's like, oh yeah, that like just keep your mouth shut. You fault him, obviously. It's like just
literally last year in the finals, and then
like wow,
they played the Heat, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I remember him going up, like driving, taking a shot, missing the shot. No one touches him, and then he's just looking at him like, "What happened?" Looking at his teammate. "What are you doing?" It's like you missed a shot.
Not only that,
like what?
He came out of the game the other night when they were just getting blown out, and went and sat on the very end of the bench by himself. And like, just put his head down, and just like not good leadership. Like I just don't see guys like Tom Brady and Michael Jordan when they're down. Like when Tom Brady was down in that Atlanta Falcons game, do you think he ever like went and started pouting? Or was like.
And from a card standpoint, legacy is a big deal, and
huge
perspective is a big deal, and
perception of a player is
right. And so
I think LeBron will still go down as an all-time great.
Oh, absolutely.
Question. But I think he's polarizing in the sense that like I don't really know anyone who like strongly hates Jordan other than like you're like some massive Jazz fan or somebody.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A Knicks fan.
But like let's say you're neutral. You're not like you didn't cheer for one of the teams that he crushed every year. And you're just like, whereas like LeBron, I see that. Like,
and even the people who would just be like contrarians. And I know this because I'm a contrarian.
Sure.
I just like, oh, you like him? Yeah, I hate him. But I have no passion behind that statement. It's just like, hey.
So I mean, credit to LeBron the fact that he went, he's won titles with 3 different teams, and he's won with casts that were not nearly as strong as this cast was. But obviously they've been, they've had a lot of injuries all season. They haven't. Been healthy, and to be honest, like Dennis Schroeder and some of these guys just didn't show up last game. Like
the funny thing for me though is with LeBron is I really wasn't following basketball for the longest time.
Yeah.
And to a point in 2019 National, I bought a couple boxes, and I'm sitting in the hotel room. This guy, he getting good. And then you and Uncle Dan were telling me who was like had some potential and who wasn't. Like I really just was out of it. But like all the hate LeBron was getting.
Yeah.
I spent 5 years going like it was kind of like when people rail on Nickelback. I was just like, it's fine. That song is like, wait, why? It seemed like he's a special lightning rod, and it never made any sense. They're like, well, Jordan didn't have to go to Game 7, but then Jordan lost in the first round where LeBron's been in the final 10 times. Like, I never understood why there was a special hate for him.
Sure.
But the flopping is just – I don't know why the flopping bothers me more than the political stuff too. Sure. But it really does. It's just the whininess of it. It's just like men like sports because it's a manly activity, and crying isn't necessarily – linked with manly activity.
Well, and I'll say this: the exciting.
Wait. Yeah. It is okay to be vulnerable, guys. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Thank you for that, John. I would say the exciting part about the NBA Finals coming up this year is we're probably going to have a team from the West that's never been there.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that happens, you get to see players rise to the occasion, superstars rise to those big moments. And I'm excited to see if there's somebody who's never been there that can actually do that.
And
you don't know until it happens. Like we don't know.
Another nice thing too is you get a city that gets reinvigorated to back their team, and
For sure.
And as a Twins fan, I've been riding on the '91 World Series since 1991. Like that still hasn't worn off.
Yeah.
And so you can win, like 2015 Royals. You know, most casual fans are like, eh. But in Kansas City, they're all about the 2015 Royals.
Sure.
You know, and they're going to be all about that until they win the next one.
Right.
And so that's kind of nice because you add extra energy in those local markets, especially from a collectibles side.
So
card
the
market side.
NBA's, it feels like baseball's in like a little bit of a lull. Like part of it is we were talking about this. I think you and I have mentioned that eBay. I think the slowest month traditionally is like July.
Yeah.
And now we're getting to a spot where it's like
we're getting
school's out. Weather's getting nice. People are doing other
and everybody's been crap for a year.
The economy's opening back up. So, like, there's a natural kind of, like, lull in this.
I will say this. In baseball, Gavin Lux is up a lot. I mentioned that to you before we started taping. Yeah. He's just really put it on in the last, 2 weeks maybe? 3 weeks? Yeah, I mean, he started out first month hitting 210, something crazy like that.
Yeah, I mean, Yordan Alvarez, too, so you got the two guys from the same class that are...
Has anything happened to Alvarez's market, Evan?
Everything's down now.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, relative to other players. So, yeah, I didn't notice price movement so much on Alvarez. I was shocked to see that there wasn't. I wonder if maybe people got, bitten when they invested the first time, and then they're a little scared to invest now in Yordan. But Lux, nobody invested in him in the first place. So, but right now, if you look at his general numbers, I don't know what he's hitting, but he's hitting like he's hitting like, is it 240? Yeah. No, I think it's higher than that. I think like 268.
241.
Is it really? Let me look that up.
Well, that's not impressive.
No, but that's the thing about baseball. If you know baseball, which you don't. But if you're hitting 198 and then 3 weeks later you're hitting 245. You just had a monster 3 weeks, right?
Or you just didn't have any at bats prior to that. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, but I mean he's getting regular at bats.
Yeah.
But so Gavin Lux is up. I think did Corbin Burns get hurt? Burns was way up, but then I haven't seen a whole lot about him recently. But yeah, so those are
he just pitched a couple days ago.
Okay. But yeah, so Lux is kind of big with cards, so keep your eye on him. I think his pink refractor is like $35. Market mover.
Well, before we jump into that too, I did want to say the big announcement on Beckett's website is that as of June 7th, Beckett BGS Grading is going to suspend all services under Express, which is their basically 2-day. It's like $250 right now. Now the good news is if you sent stuff.
PSA
yep. So I sent the $100 service level. I sent a bunch of 6 or 8 cards just this last Tuesday, and everything that if you postmark it prior to the 7th.
Okay.
They're going to accept it for the older service level. So if you have some Beckett.
I said this to you when you called the other day. When you read that press release, it reads like they're sending everybody's cards back.
Which, if they've been holding
really
it for
does.
6 months, they're not going to.
The way whoever wrote that really needs to be fired. Because I'm reading it, I'm like, there's no way they're doing that.
Nope.
But that's the way it reads when you.
Well, the good news, John, is your BGS is finally done.
Yeah, you called me about that. It really wasn't good news, bad news. So I had 3 cards out. 2 of them came back min-size from PSA.
SP Jeter.
Which BGS will grade. Mm-hmm. And then I had a absolute glass LeBron.
Yep. That's
an encased card. And my case was all scratched up. So I'm like, yeah. So you're like, oh, they 10 a lot. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we sent them off, and then that was 8 years ago.
We sent them, actually, we're coming up on a year.
It's 1 year, right? It's almost literally a year. And so the bad news first, the Beam Team Jordan, the 92 Beam Team Jordan, came back evidence trim.
No, altered.
Altered.
We don't know the designation. They didn't.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, it might be flat. It might be flat.
It might be
not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it came back that. So we'll just sell that raw. And then the Jeter, SP93 Jeter came back in 8. And I was hoping for an 8, but I really thought it was going to be a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy about that. And then LeBron was a 10, which Thank you for the advice on that.
And it could be a black label. I don't know.
No.
I didn't see the.
I just took your advice on that. You're like, oh, they tend a lot. I'm like, cool. So listen.
So that's the update. So basically, PSA and Beckett now are going to be in the same kind of boat. Now everyone keeps asking, what do we know about July 1st as far as PSA? We don't know anything.
I think I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're probably going to open a couple tiers.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to open up one. Yeah. I think they're going to say, all right, what's the next tier? 150?
Yep.
And they're going to go, okay, that one, and then they're going to, wait till some sort of benchmarks get hit, and then go, okay, regular service. Mm-hmm. And then, I do think there's going to be a price increase. Do you think they're going to do away with bulk, period, and just do $25? What was $25 service?
I'm not sure.
Is there any value in even offering bulk at this point? Yeah. I'm from their standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge moneymaker. I mean, they're still profitably making a lot per card. I think my advice to them, if they cared about mine, would be I wouldn't take any new accounts, and I would limit guys like you and I who have existing accounts with PSA.
No.
I would limit the bulk to maybe $200 a month so that people do a little work on the front end of weeding out some stuff that shouldn't be graded to kind of keep things.
But you could do that by not offering bulk and just charging $20 a card at the lowest.
Yeah, you could do it that way. I don't think that's necessarily the long-term goal. I think the goal is for them to get enough people hired that they can open
the whole thing back up
and get them done a lot quicker. And we'll see how it plays
out.
Have
you gotten any HGA stuff in the shop where people are trying to sell it at all?
No.
Neither have I. I haven't had anybody. I think the people who are sending them like them, and they're just kind of holding on to them and waiting to see what the market's like.
I think it's impossible to get in there too, because there's like a queue and a certain.
Yeah, so it's hard to get it done, but then it just seems like we talked about this a little bit with me and you and maybe somebody else, but so if it turns out that HGA is a legitimate grader, and all I mean by legitimate is, if you see a card and it says 10 on it, most people are going to be like, yeah, it's a 10. If it says 9, most people say, yeah, it's a 9. There's a little whiting on the corner or whatever.
Right.
So that's all I mean by legitimate. So the reason why, because back when PSA just started and it started to get popular, a bunch of companies came out and they put a 10 on anything.
Right.
And every once in a while, you get one of those companies that says 6, and I'm like, how bad is this card that even they were like, yeah, we can't ruin our reputations on this guy.
Right.
So I think HGA, if it end up being legitimate,
yep,
it seems like mostly the younger part of the hobby really likes these cases. They're the sneakerheads, the guys who do the vintage apparel and matching and everything. There's something to be said that in 10 years or in 12 years, HGA might very well spike in value as those guys start turning 35, because those guys are going to leave the hobby in the next 5 years.
Right.
And they're going to start families, and they're going to get their first job or their second job. And then once they're on their fourth promotion and they got their kids and they got their family set, they're going to go back in the market and they're going to go, oh, I remember HGA. It's going to be a nostalgia thing for them.
Right. By the way, I got your subs here. Your LeBron has a 9.5 centering and the rest are 10s.
Oh.
10 corners, 10 edges.
Wonderful. Gatekeeping my LeBron. I'm still shut out, never black label.
So no black label. There's only one black
label.
It's
the absolute glass.
It's a case hit. It's a very nice card.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It's really thick.
They're made out of actual glass.
Is it made out of glass?
Yep.
Yeah, it had the weight to it.
So they actually grade really well because the glass itself, for whatever reason, doesn't scratch.
Well, glass doesn't scratch in general. I mean, you really have to
sharp.
beat
it
on
takes
it.
like diamond or something sharper than glass usually does.
Yeah.
And so that card
is
the card
plastic's not going to do it.
It's a card I see BGS 10 more than any other card.
So center, 9.5, bunch of jerks. So BGS, come on, man, just give me a 10. So
well, you got a 10. You mean give him?
No, I want a black label though. I've never had one. And then so yeah, that's my thought. I had that thought on HGA, and I linked it back to the RC rookie logo.
Yeah.
Because I came back to Minnesota the year they started doing it. And I remember talking to Steve. What up, Steve? And talking about the rookie logo, I'm like, I don't like this rookie logo. I mean, it's not a Rick card. the Bowman first is the rookie card, or the first Bowman is before they started putting that on there. But what I didn't realize, which I should have, is that in 10, 12 years, all the kids collecting are going to see the RC as the rookie card. They couldn't afford Bowman anyways.
Right.
They couldn't afford the Bowman auto. They had the RC card,
Yep.
And so it's one of those things keeping back of your head.
And
maybe in
for those
6,
of you guys
7 years.
listening, so what John's referring to is Topps demands that a player actually is called up and plays in the major leagues before they get.
I
them a rookie
believe the
card, whereas Bowman does
MLB
not.
made them do that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because what had happened was in the 90s, you would have, like Derek Jeter, for example.
Yep.
1993, he had the Topps that says rookie card on it.
Yep.
1994, he has a score that says rookie card on it.
95,
95,
yeah.
96, and then is there a 97 with a rookie card?
I don't think
there
97.
might be a 97. So
But I think
there
his
might
first,
have 5
but his
rookie
first
cards.
actual at bat, I believe, was 95. So he had a card 2 years prior.
Yeah, and so they were saying, well, the rookie is diluted.
Yeah.
And so, and I think with part of the exclusive agreement, no, that's not true. Because Upper Deck had to do it too. Yeah, so it was a part of the agreement with the MLB in order to get licensing. They couldn't manipulate the rookie.
Yep.
I don't know why the MLB cares so much. I might be wrong about this, but if my memory serves correct, I think the MLB had a hand in making that happen.
Sure.
And so, but just that RC logo, it's not a rookie because I'm old school, right? The first card is the rookie. That's it. Done. Well, right now, that's not true at all. That is the rookie.
Yeah.
The Bowman is the Bowman first, which is hilarious, right?
Yeah.
The Bowman's not even the rookie. It's the Bowman first.
Right.
Because no one ever refers to it as a rookie. I would, but, none of the, younger, 20, late 20s buyers would say that.
Right.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. There's almost two kind of camps on that, right? You have the guys who are more concerned with the first auto.
The first card.
Or the first autograph.
Yeah.
And then you have the first non-autograph being the kind of the Topps rookie, the update or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Bowman paper. So to me, the rookie is the Bowman paper first, the Chrome first, and then the auto first. The RC is not the rookie card, but I'm old.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean everybody can have. Everyone's entitled to collect the way they want, which is kind of interesting to see how people kind of gather around whichever side. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are.
Right, but what happens is if enough people,
I'll say this much,
agree on something, they pull in a lot of people to agree.
And I'll say this much: I learned a lot about baseball, high-end baseball Bowman sales at the Dallas show because the guy next to me is famously known as Bowman Sean. So
Bowman Sean, okay.
Sean. So Bowman Sean, Sean Hendricks is a big-time Bowman dealer. He's dealt with Bowman since he got back into collecting. He had a BGS 10 09 Trout draft auto that he sold the day he got called up. I mean, he's had some huge cards,
the day he got called up.
He sold for like 400. He was into it for like 100. Now it's 100,000. But anyway, he almost exclusively deal. I've never seen him have. In his case,
does he do the
Dallas,
national?
Yeah.
I think I know he's way over in the side.
He's from Minnesota. He hangs out with Jeremy. He's set up with all those guys.
Oh, okay.
He works for Jeremy.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, I noticed a lot of guys buying cards from him, and all he has is Bowman first autos.
Yeah.
That's it. So he doesn't even deal with the first non-auto,
really
and he doesn't deal at all with Topps rookie papers. Like I didn't see a single Topps card.
Actually, that's very interesting. I have that conversation with customers all the time too about collecting the way you want.
Yep.
And even if you want to make money, I'm like, my favorite one is the guy at the National who all he has is Jordan Flair rookies. He doesn't even have any stickers.
Right.
It's just
the base.
Jordan Flair base in all different grades, Beckett, PSA, everything, but just that one card. I'm like, you can just deal in literally one card.
Yep.
Or you can be the dime box people.
Right.
Or you can be the dollar box people.
Or the Bowman.
Or you can be the Bowman guy. Yep. Or you can be just hockey.
But as you know, the market right now on Bowman is the hottest thing in baseball.
Yeah.
Topps. Just look at the value difference between a Trout Bowman auto and a Topps update, even like a gold.
Oh, right,
or even like a, it's just night and day.
Well, even the
and
Chrome.
The same is true with Acuna, and same is true with all those guys. Their first auto is just
Oh, wait, he doesn't have a paper, does he?
Who?
He just has an auto.
He has a Bowman
Trout.
draft in 10, but not in 9.
No, he doesn't have an 09 paper or chrome.
Correct.
I always forget that, and then I try to pick. So when I talk about cards, it's hilarious. It's like a slideshow in my head. I literally see a picture of the card in my head, and so I've said that about that Trout 09. I'm like, oh yeah, the Trout paper, and then and it's like a blank. It's like it won't pop up the image of the card. I'm like, wait, oh, you don't have an auto. Yep. That's nuts. All right, market movers.
Yeah, interesting market mover. I just pulled it up. I'm looking.
No, Evan brought something up about that. Is let's try to skip over the ones where there's just like, let's make sure there's like 10 sales. So if it's got 1 sale or got 3 sales, can we do that just to make it a little more?
Yeah, everything in here is more than that.
Okay.
So last 14 days, the number 1 increase is a guy named Max Holloway, UFC.
Okay.
Silver Prism.
And you got to figure there's tons of room on the UFC guys.
Yeah. Number 2 is a shocker to me. And I assume it's related to the World Cup coming up. There are 10 sales. It's Mia Hamm's Upper Deck rookie card, 94.
Yeah, I had 3 of those. I sold them off last year.
What'd you get for them? Remember?
10 or 12.
Yeah, they're up to 33.
Oh, good time. Yeah, I noticed that the other day.
So that's an interesting card. And I think so.
But I think that's the more of an issue. That card was so cheap.
Let's talk about this. The World Cup coming up is driving a lot of the soccer sales right now, based on the country.
And World Cup's every 4 years, like the Olympics, right?
Every 4.
Okay.
And it's interesting too because you have all these guys who play for other teams professionally,
but then they go back to
then when they go back to their country, it feels like the World Cup fandom is more loyal or more aggressive. Or I don't know soccer enough, but I know my brother used to get up at 2 a.m. to watch the U.S. World Cup. I'm like, why are you doing that?
No, I'll tell you this.
Care less. Like,
in 3 different World Cups, one as a kid, one like in college, and then one as an adult, I never watched soccer. I actually find World Cup soccer interesting. I think they do play harder. I actually find it somewhat, not very, I don't watch the whole game, but I'll watch a good 45 minutes of it. Sure. Whereas any other time, I would immediately change channel. Yeah. So that's interesting that you came to that same conclusion or thought.
Well, and I think in the U.S., like, we have something about our nationalistic allegiance when it comes to the Olympics and stuff that like people rally around more so than like. I mean, what's the name of our soccer team here in Minnesota? The Loons. Like, I've never even watched a game. Like, I know there's a lot of fans, but like, if I would get more, I would actually watch a U.S. World Cup game. I don't see myself watching almost any other soccer.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can get through about 45 minutes, and I'm impressed with the player. But other than that, I don't. Yeah. But it's kind of like hockey. Like, I actually know some of the rules in hockey, but like I don't really see what's happening on the ice. Right. I don't see like there's some sort of defense they're putting up. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next guy is Talon Horton Tucker, actually, for the.
No, he had a big game yesterday.
Well, yeah, he needed to because no one else is playing.
Oh, right.
Everybody else was
and he's always the guy everybody keeps wanting to become a superstar. Yeah. So I'm gonna go pull him out and sell him again because I'm not one of those people.
So he doesn't have a Prism rookie, but he has Optic and Select. Yeah. And so those are the 4 cards that are really taking.
Well, I'm happy we're taping tonight because I got to pull him out.
The next guy, I don't even know who this guy is, but it's another soccer player, Curtis Jones, Premier League. Okay. Base Prism rookie, I guess. Man, the next guy is a Upper Deck Young Gun, Vitek Vansek. I don't know who he even plays for.
I've never been so bored going through this list before in my life.
That's what I'm saying. It's like nobody.
Well, scroll down, find somebody in the big 3.
Okay, I'll give you one. Javi Baez.
Yeah, he's been playing out of his mind.
How is Javi Baez finally?
Oh, because he got a double off of a ground out.
Oh, that was the worst play I've ever.
It was awful because all he had to do it was 2 outs. I didn't even know there was 2 outs when I first saw it.
All he had to do is touch the base.
We were talking about it.
He chased the guy back to home plate. It was literally the worst. It was actually embarrassing to see a professional team act that. The guy literally chased the guy back to home plate and then threw the ball home.
Why? He just tag him.
Not only just take him, just turn around and go step on the base.
No,
It's a
right.
force.
Let's say, because I know what happened. He
Yeah.
caught it. Baez was almost to him. So normally you just tag him and you go in. And then Baez is like, you can't touch me. And so he starts going backwards. No, yeah, the right answer is go, okay, you weirdo, and walk back to first base.
Yeah.
But he's like,
Or you just walk towards him and tag him.
he's just like walking towards him. But then he got caught up in the moment. And he forgot probably how many outs there were. He threw the ball, which was completely unnecessary. Wow. And then he ended up on second base.
Tim Kirchin talked about it. And he was like, this is the worst.
He got caught up in the moment.
It was the worst display of just not knowing the situation.
Yeah.
Worse than J.R. Smith dribbling the ball out when they're down one. I mean, it's like.
Well, the other thing too is like a lot of people go, some of the best base running had nothing to do with us.
No.
It's just turn around, go to first base.
So Javi Baez, the next guy I've actually heard on here is the rookie basketball Killian Hayes.
Oh,
his silver.
Is he Detroit, isn't
he? Yeah, he's not even in the playoffs.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Right? Yeah, Killian.
Yeah, Detroit's not in the playoffs.
Maybe the Olympics.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump to sales volume by player.
All right,
and
cool.
See if any of that is shifted.
Might have to scroll down a little bit. But
number one is John Morant, which makes sense. John Morant's, they
played out of his mind.
play-in games.
Yeah.
They beat Curry. Then they've actually won some games.
They won that Jazz game.
Yeah. So I mean, for a team that wasn't really expected to do anything early on, I mean, and John Morant has played really well.
Right.
So he's had the benefit of being in the playoffs, where Zion's not in the playoffs.
Right.
That's why I like Zion as a buy. Whereas Ja is
it was funny about I saw this line about Ja. It goes that I think I had like 3 players, and they're talking about strengths and weaknesses of the 3 players, comparing them. And I do not remember who the other players are. I don't know what any of the statements were, but it says I can't even remember the line. It goes it said under John Morant, it says famous for almost making a dunk.
Yeah.
Because he's done it like 3 times now where he didn't make it, but everybody's like, wow, it's amazing. Like,
I love it.
But you didn't make the dunk.
So Ja's number 1, Luka's number 2, LeBron's number 3, Trae Young's number 4. And Trae Young, of those top 4, is the only guy whose value on those
sales.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. On those 1,259 sales is actually up almost 1% only.
Okay.
Everybody else is down. So LeBron's down 4%.
So the volume's up, but
Luka's
the
down
price
8.
is down.
Ja's down 7. Number 5 is Zion. Number 6 is Kobe. 7 is Herbert. 8 is Tatis. 9 is LaMelo Ball. So kind of the guys you'd expect.
I'm still so hard to sell on Herbert right now.
Yeah.
Sell
the hype.
I just want to move him. Because it's just, I don't see what he can do to justify his value.
Well, I'll tell you.
Next year, other than winning the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you who I'm buying. So we actually ran an event. I don't even know if I talked about this on the podcast, but we did. One of our local customers owns the Shakopee Brew Hall.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I'd love to have
have
you guys come in and do a trade night. So we showed up. Like 25, 30 people showed up. It was amazing.
Wow. Very cool.
They can't have food there, so we ordered in food. We ordered in pizza. Cool. People had drinks, and people traded. And it was funny. We were sitting there, and this older guy is just having a beer or whatever, and he sees we're trading cards. He goes, hey, are those sports cards? We're like, yeah. He goes, my son's getting ready to get married. I know he needs some more money. I think he's got some Tom Brady rookies. So he calls his son. This has nothing to do with it.
Awesome.
His son drives to the brew hall, and I end up buying three good rookies from Brady.
This freaking guy.
You just got to be in the right place at the right time and have cash in your pocket.
You just got to go to a bar and buy cards, go on a date, buy cards.
Yep.
Trip and fall in a pothole and be like, oh, that's that Wagner everybody's been looking for.
Oh, that's the money. By the way, exciting news. I actually got a phone call this week. First time in a long time, we're in the early stages of talking about buying a 52 mantle.
Oh, nice.
In a collection. So that a gentleman inherited this collection. It's at the bank still. It's in the safety deposit box. I don't even think he's seen it since he inherited. All of it's ungraded. There's a Chamberlain rookie, Jordan rookie, a bunch of 60s baseball stars, and then some real key, like the 52. I mean, the 52 is the crowning card there. So much of it comes.
That's
something
to be said when there's a Jordan rookie in the back.
Yeah. So it's there's. I mean, a PSA 2 is almost 100,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking this is a significant. Even a 4 is probably 150 or.
So
I'm excited.
Did he have any idea of like what it looked like, or?
Nope. And so the guy I've been dealing with is actually a guy that this gentleman hired to help him broker the collection. Wow. And so I'm hoping soon.
Is he a friend or?
No, he's actually this guy's like a real estate broker, and he's got brought into this sports car deal for this family, basically to say, hey, we don't know what we're doing. Can you contact someone and kind of like help them walk through this? And I'm like, yeah, I'd be. So I'm the only guy in town they've talked to.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get to the bank and actually get some photos and look at the cards in person, and then go back and
feel for what
and just get a feel for grade, authenticity, all the stuff.
Yeah, those deals are tough when you're not dealing with the owner directly.
I will be then, but I'm not on the phone. I haven't. So he's just been busy. He's a construction blue collar guy.
Then what's the point of hiring the?
He wants someone else to negotiate for him. I think he wants somebody.
Right, so then you won't be dealing with the owner.
Well, no, I'll be meeting with the owner and talking with him.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you ever have
it's
that
no different than a real
intermediary,
estate. Yeah, it's like a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's exciting. I mean, but anyway, back to those Brady's.
Absolutely.
I got a Prestige Brady numbered to 2,500.
Okay.
I got a Collector's Edge Brady numbered to 2,000, and then I got an Impact. The Prestige is in amazing condition.
Okay.
I've never seen one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't even.
The highest graded right now out there, I want to say, is like a BGS 9.
Wow.
I actually sent it to Beckett before they closed at their express level, so I'm curious to see that. But that's all going on my PC. I'm PCing. I want to get one of every Brady rookie I can. Sure. And these are ones I've never seen.
And then how many are there? Base ones?
How many different ones?
Yeah.
I think there's about
12?
30.
30?
Well, if you consider like
just base, that's not parallel.
If you consider like Bowman and Bowman Chrome 2 each, one
okay.
or two. I mean, then a refractor. I'm not counting the refractor.
Yeah.
Chrome, but
no, Bowman Chrome would be a different.
There's 30 probably almost.
30?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I only ever see like the same 5.
I mean, you got Upper Deck.
I see Bowman Chrome. I see Impact.
Well, let's start at the top with the most valuable. The most valuable is Contenders. Second most valuable is SP Authentic. Then you have UD Graded, SPX,
Upper
Deck.
Stats.
You have Bowman Chrome. You have Collector's Edge. You have Prestige. You have, you have
that makes
Crown
sense.
Royal. You have Crown Royal Retail. You have Crown Royal Regular.
But the UD Graded, all those weird relic hit products, and then they had the base, then nobody wanted the base.
I mean, the SPX might be the hardest one I see the least. They're numbered to 1,500.
That's the other problem is
a
all
lot
these
of them are numbered.
premium sets are numbered under 4,000.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the SP Authentic is to what, 1,250.
Well, actually, I'll bring that up because I've talked to you about this before. Is I really think, and this is one of those things where I'm gonna say something that people should do, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it myself, which I probably won't.
Nice.
But
do what I say, not what I do.
Right. But I gotta think all of those early 2000 sets that had the numbered rookies.
Yeah.
So there's some of them where they numbered them to like 800, right?
Yep.
You can only make 800 sets.
Right.
Right. And a lot of those rookies sell for $1. Yep. All the common.
Yep.
And I got to think, just like buying Jay-Z top rookie cards for $1 whenever you see them,
yep.
I got to think, like, buying those commons for $1 a piece and just stashing them. I got to figure at some point there's going to be a resurgence of set collecting, and people are going to start putting those together. And, like, all that stuff is going to rise because even SP Authentic with 2,000, like, 2,000, it's not that much.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I think it's probably something to do.
Yeah, I think there's a reason I graded a Juwan Howard 2003 Topps Chrome Black Refractor, and I have the Pop 1 PSA 10.
Very cool.
Because the LeBron set is going to be one that someone's going to want to put together the whole set in 10.
Yeah.
And the Black Refractors are numbered to 500.
Right.
So, like, think about that. There's 500 of that card. There's still only one PSA 10.
Right.
So, like, PSA 10ing even a common is going to be, like, really, you know what I mean? Those cards become.
And there are collectors who put together 1984 top PSA 10 sets.
Yes, absolutely.
Which are 792 cards.
Yeah. I started putting together the 1970 top set in PSA.
Well, that's a little different. 70 is legitimately vintage, but I'm talking like 84 top baseball is not a big deal.
No, but if you think about, and this is a side point, I've had this thought before. I don't know if we've articulated this, but as you think about investing in cards, one of the things you always want to do is pick the most iconic sets to either buy commons or semi-stars or second-tier Hall of Famers in. And the two easily most popular basketball sets of all time are going to be 86 Fleer and 03 Topps Chrome.
Yeah.
I mean, because those are the two sets of the most flagship card of LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Then you have like for example,
then 96 Topps Chrome
like with Curry or with Kobe.
Oh, no, 96 Topps Chrome has got to be second, and then 03 Topps Chrome's got to be third. I think we would rank them. I'd put 96 in front of 03.
Yeah, maybe.
Now the question is, what's number 4?
Number 4 basketball. I'd actually go back to like 61 Fleer or something with like Oscar Robertson. And
what would you do
Wilt
for after of the modern era, like after 93?
So I'd go
92.
96. I'd go 03. I'd go 09 Topps Chrome probably.
Who's 09?
Curry and Harden and all those guys probably.
Sure.
And then
the most recent guys, the guys who are in their primes right now,
now. Yep.
well developed. Okay, 09.
So for me, I'm actually, and I'm not doing this as. I'm doing this as a collector primarily, but it also has this. I like collecting things that I think are going to appreciate too. So I'm putting the 03 set together. I'm putting the 86 Fleer set together in PSA 8, and I'm going after sets that I think are strategic.
I'll say something. What I thought you were going to say is, but I think it's good advice, is when you're looking at what to invest in, pay attention to what people are collecting. And so it's a little different than what you said, but if all of a sudden people are collecting something, then you go, oh, okay, well, let me invest in that type of collection, whether it's set collecting, whether it's player collecting, whether it's whatever.
Yeah, so
look at that demand.
And so people are doing that on the supply side by looking for low pop.
Yeah.
But also do it like you're saying on the demand side, where you're like, I'm buying.
What are people trying to collect? And by collect, I mean they're not selling that. They're not buying it for investment. They're buying it because they want it, and they're going to keep it.
Like,
and they're not getting rid of it.
I started the 52 top set, and then decided to sell it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have afforded to keep it at the time because I had a few Hall of Famers and I just had a lot of cards out of 52 tops, which every single one of those cards is up 10 times what I paid for them or more.
And when did you sell that?
I sold it in 2013.
Was it right when you were getting into the shop? Or?
Yeah, no, way before the shop.
Before.
No, I was still buying and I was trying to gain capital to buy more cards.
Yeah, but
and,
that was a good sale then.
Yeah, it was fine.
Look at where you're at now
I made money
in the business.
Yeah.
And you use that capital to start that business. Yeah, that's
and now what I'm going after is the T206 set. That's the only baseball set I'm working on right now. Now
how big is that set?
Oh, if you count every back, it's ridiculous. I don't even want to know because it's thousands.
Well, what if it's one back?
One back, probably 300.
I thought it was smaller than that. I thought it was only like 196 or something like that. But I don't. Vintage baseball is not something I do.
Nuggets gonna win.
What's that? Nuggets are gonna win?
Oh my goodness!
What?
The set consists of 524 cards.
For just a base, no variation.
Wow, I was way light. I thought it was like 350.
I was like in 100, like 190.
So it's 524 is the most accepted number on the checklist.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the other problem. There is no checklist.
It includes the standard 520 and then the big four. The big four rarities are there's the Wagner, a Cobb. There's a Eddie Plank. That there's like none that exists. Like there's less of that than the Wagner. When they come up, like a low grade Plank will sell for $300,000-400,000.
Wow.
Because there's just. It was the
so
similar
you're
type
just
deal.
trying to pick up all the low end as deep as you can get.
I mean, maybe
one day.
I've gotten a few stars, and I got some as graded as high as 5, which I think a 5 on a 1909 card is unbelievable high grade. Like I don't have anything lower than 2, and I have everything between 2 and 5. I only have like 20 cards so far, but I have more that go.
Now you're saying 500 cards. It's like we got a long way to go.
Here's the beauty of it for me. If I'm going to be selling cards the next 10 years, I'm always at shows. And here's the cool part about collecting, right? You just take, let's say you have $100 at a show, and I'm like, I'm going to spend $100. I'm going to try to buy 2 or 3 good cards. Well, I do that 20, 30 times at different shows over the time, and I'm not seeing this huge like economic drain on my budget. But all of a sudden now I've accumulated some significant value.
Right.
And all that stuff is still growing. And then all of a sudden you look back and you go,
that's
with only $100 a month, I collected what's now a $20,000 set, which has the ability to appreciate.
Well, that's what happened with that finest set that I built.
Same deal.
while I was buying it, I'm like, man, I'm spending a lot of money because I'm a bottom feeder. I'm a quarterback guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm actually paying $4 for this guy,
Yeah.
But because I went down that road, I ended up with some big cards
That now we're gonna pay
that weren't
dividends.
weren't big when I got them.
And exactly. Here's the beauty of doing what you did. By doing a set, you were forced to buy a Jay-Z to finish the set, having no idea that would become the card it is. Right?
I had an.
No,
well, I'll put it
no,
this way.
you-
I had
no.
the inkling that card might be worth $50 one day.
Yeah, 50.
That refractor, right?
Yeah.
That refractor's $400 maybe. I haven't checked in a while.
$400?
Yeah, maybe $300-$400.
Great.
So I thought, maybe in 10 years it'll be like $50, and then they're going for 8, or 12 or
Yeah, it's
6
unreal.
or whatever it was. And so but yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have bought it. Maybe I would have been like, it's not that much of a return.
Yep.
But I had to get it.
And I think picking sets to collect that have key rookies, it guarantees the demand for the set forever. Does that make sense? So, like, you look at T206, you look at 52 tops,
Right.
you look at 75 tops with, Yount and Brett, or, and where you have, like, more than one key. Like, the cool thing about 86 Fleer is...
Well, that's why 96 is basketball.
That's
such
why
a big deal.
Yeah, such
There's
a
so
big
many
class.
Hall of Famers.
Such a big class, yeah. Iverson
Yeah.
and Nash are getting a lot of love, and Ray Allen. And yeah, so, anyway.
No, the interesting thing is a lot of people think Nash came out of nowhere, but I remember the year he got drafted, he had really good play his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were like, no, he was under the radar. He wasn't that under the radar.
No.
Well,
and I'll say this. I'm interested to watch market movers the next month or two, probably at the end of July. I would guess right now we're going to start to see a bunch of football names creeping into the top sales by player.
When do you think that's going to happen for the first time?
I think when they
after
report
the 15th
for
of July.
training camp. Yeah.
After the 15th of July.
15.
For sure.
Is that right?
Not before.
So hold on. 2 years when Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in practice, I remember there being a lot of hype around football at that time, and it was just before the first preseason game, which is about the first week of August?
Yeah, August,
yeah. So I think you're right.
So it's not before the 15th.
It's right about the time of the national.
Yeah.
National football will be really moving.
Right.
So right now, I mean, I think
and some decent products will be out by then.
Yep.
That people will have busted.
I mean, we had guys excited the
Pest
other day about Leaf Metal Draft just because there's so many quarterbacks and that stuff.
Oh yeah, and this year might be different because of all the quarterbacks.
Right.
You're gonna see a lot. I remember first national. I remember that kid coming up with the Trubisky auto.
Yeah.
He's really trying to move it, and good thing you didn't bite on that one.
Denver won the series,
right.
knocked Portland out.
He's getting fired.
Who is? Stotts, yeah. Yeah. I mean, good for Denver to be able to win a series without Jamal Murray and Jokic.
And then who does
validate
Denver play next then?
Denver's going to be playing the winner of Clippers-Mavs. Yep.
So they're going to play the Mavs.
Well, if the Clippers can pull it out, I'll say
I don't think they will.
The Denver's a really good matchup for them to beat. Whereas right now you want to be playing Denver. You don't want to be playing the other side. Either the Suns or the
So, here we go. So Denver plays Phoenix, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Yo.
Jazz. So either Jazz.
Denver plays Phoenix, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then Utah would play Dallas or Clippers. So I think Denver is going to go to the conference finals.
Conference finals?
Yeah, right? Because
Suns?
The Suns and Lakers?
Yeah.
I can see them beating both of them.
I'm curious to see what the Lakers do tonight. If they just roll over and die, or if they actually come out and put up a fight.
Maybe.
It's always disappointing to see a team give up, and you felt like that's what happened with the Celtics. I felt like I saw that with the Wizards. Where it's like, we're done. Yeah, we're good.
Well, the Wizards never even tried.
The Celtics suck. Sorry.
I mean, Tatum was trying. Tatum was doing whatever he could do.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown being out obviously hurt them. And
right.
Whatever, but Damian Lillard, though, is a legitimate superstar in the league, and I think
he's just kind of out in the corner.
Well, and the unfortunate part for Lillard is he like a lot of guys who ran into Jordan, he just ran his career into Curry, and so Curry's just been the bigger name point guard. But Damian Lillard's probably going to be an MVP, and I wouldn't be surprised if they surround him with a little more help if he can.
And the other problem too is it seems like he's very loyal to the team too, so he's not demanding to get out. He's not demanding.
And the guy is just absolutely ice in his veins. The other night, I mean, the guy just hit some monster shots.
I thought one way he missed a shot, and you could see a couple other players going, "Oh, it's about time."
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, other players. I mean, it's almost all basketball. It's interesting. There's
well, it makes sense. The playoffs.
Yeah. But a lot of the guys are the retired guys. So
I'm finding it interesting. There's no, like you said, there's no baseball. I mean, we're getting to the point where the career or the year is being established by now. It's not the first 2 weeks. Vlad's going nuts.
Yep.
Acuna going nuts. That's right.
So 8, 9, 10, 11 in the top 11 sales volume by card. There's only 2 baseball cards. One is Derek Jeter's 93 Topps, which I assume is because of the Hall of Fame coming up. And the second one is Fernando Tatis Topps.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Well, that's the other thing.
Tatis who's cracked the
goes down, comes back in like an hour, and just starts hitting bombs, and everybody's like, I don't care anymore. Like, what? He wasn't gone that long.
And I love about, right away I saw people be like, show me your Fernando. As soon as he got hurt, like, I want to buy him at a discount. Like,
you know what that is, though? You know what that is, though? That people holding. That is, whenever you see that post, that's because somebody's holding, and they think by posting that they're going to keep the market up.
No. I think they genuinely want to buy him.
No,
I think
that's fear.
No, because there's people buying. They go, hey, it's such an opportunity to buy at a discount. Hey, I bought that with Bitcoin. I mean, I told you about my buy at the Dells, right? I bought 10.
No.
Oh, I didn't tell you about this buy. This is one of my favorite buys. This is the first time I've taken.
Well, must have not have been.
Well, I mean, it wasn't Tom Brady autos or Wayne Gretzky rookies, but I bought from a kid. He had like 14 Topps Chrome Luis Robert rookies. All PSA 10.
No, I didn't tell us.
All PSA 10. The comps were as high as 200 months ago.
Yeah.
At the time when I made the deal, the last sale was like $80.
Right.
I offered him $500 for 10 of them, and he sold them to me. So I have 10 PSA 10 Topps Chrome Roberts that I'm into them for $50 a piece, and I'm curious to see, like, if they get up to $150 next year, I might sell a couple, and then I might hold a few, and then at the end, I might be able to have 5 of them at the end that I can just ride them out for free. Yeah, it's just so I think Robert's a good buy when he's injured.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about Wander at all? Like, because
pretty stagnant, like the prices on him.
No, I mean just in terms from the baseball side. Like, is it gonna get called up at any time? Seems like a little bit got brewing when what's his face got hurt.
Well, they traded Willie Adames.
They traded him. That's what happened. That's why I said it that way, because he got hurt? Question mark. So he got. How do you say his last name? Adames. So he got traded. So there was a gap, but then they called a different prospect who actually was having a better minor league season so far. But there's no reason to manipulate the call up.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why they're not calling him up.
Well, let me ask you on eBay,
because he's raking.
What have you been surprised by? What's been selling for you? What players?
Let me take a look at what is sold.
This guy sold today, and I have a high-end card of his Shea Langeliers.
Who?
2019 Bowman prospect. Is he up or is he? It always makes me wonder, like, when a baseball prospect sells, like, what's going on here?
I think he's just playing well in the
AAA, nice.
All right, so let's see what I got here. I got that's not LaMelo sold today. So now some of it I've been selling a lot of apparel, but that's mainly because we've been pushing it through.
Yep.
So Sam, what up, Sam? Has listed my entire backlog. So I've been selling. Nice. So I sold a bunch of champion jerseys.
Oh, cool.
Sold Sean Kemp Sonics with the Sonic script across.
I mean, Sean Kemp, believe it or not, is one of the more sought after guys. Mm-hmm. That's not a huge Hall of Fame name, or you know what I mean. Yeah, he's got a very strong cult following, I would say.
Yeah, I'm probably part of that. I was always a big Kemp fan. I think Mikado sold. Barry Sanders sold.
Yeah, I sold.
I will tell you this. This is actually a good point. Emmett Smith, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Brett Favre. Those guys still sell.
That vintage football.
Even low end stuff. Marino sells.
Elway. Yeah.
Elway sells. So. Devers. I've sold a few Devers.
Well, because as you think about it, like the guys whose, let's say their kids are getting into collecting, we have a lot of guys in the 30 to 45 range who come in regularly with their sons and stuff. They're still like into collecting the guys that they were fans of. They're not. A lot of them aren't like I'm taking on Herbert. Now Mike is a unique example because Mike What up, Mike?
What up,
Mike, loves Jerry Rice and some of these vintage guys. But now he's fallen in love with Mahomes. And so he actually collects Mahomes currently. But a lot of these guys haven't moved into, like, current players. They're just still buying.
Sports is very much like music. You develop what you like the most between 12 and 25. And that's your music, right? No, I listen to current music all the time. I'm always looking for new music to listen to. But damn if half what I listen to isn't before year 2000.
Right.
So I want to tell you.
Yeah, Oasis is still on your playlist.
No, it is. It absolutely is. I got in. I did sell that Trae Young gold pack rookie, not kind of quasi middle, after the rookie year, but before the second year.
Yep.
I had a 10. I sold it for $140.
Nice.
So that's not bad because I bought a $20 pack. I skunked on it, and then I had that Young for like $20, which was twice what it was going for raw.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get my money back. So then when I said I got a 10, I made money on that.
Yeah.
All thanks to grading.
Well, and I'll say this much. That's why I think in some ways we're seeing sales on raw cards on eBay slowing down a little bit. Is a lot of what was driving that is them being able to grade them, and so that's. I mean, it's slowed us down on buying. We're buying less raw. I bought a Kobe Star Date yesterday from a guy raw.
Nice.
The EX.
Very nice.
It's a pretty nice surface. I mean, I hope it's a BGS 9 maybe, but I mean, I'm still buying selective cards. I will say this much. The other big news for us is we're buying less retail from other people because we've been able to start getting some of it our own direct. So we actually got 20-some Chronicles Football Blasters.
From distributor?
Yep. No, from Target or
I
think, retail online, though. We've been able to get it versus having to buy it, which I think one of the things that's going away, and I think people thought this was going to be there forever, is these huge retail markups. Like,
oh, you can already see it.
I mean, I've actually turned a few guys down this week where I'm like, I actually got these at.
I bought a couple lots where I paid retail from the guy buying it. They just didn't want to bring it back.
Yep.
And so there was markup on it for me.
Yep. But not for
with
both
my
of you.
markup, I'm like, I can get you your money back.
Like back in the day, 6 months ago, both sides could make significant money.
Absolutely.
Now it's more like one. So either I told these guys, you got to sell them yourself.
Leave
on
it on the
Facebook,
shelf, or I mean, you're gonna make a few dollars.
Or what I'll tell them is usually I'm $5 over their cost. Per box or something, or
Yeah, I just that's happened twice, and then I'm like, you really got to make sure because.
Part of that is though PSA is closed because I think the price of the box is affected a little bit.
Well, but here's the thing is, but with people being, if you got into flipping cars, flipping wax 6 months ago, you have no idea how ever it was before then.
Yes.
So then they're like, oh, I can just buy anything, and then I'll sell it to the car shop for more money. And it's like that was never the case unless it was like 2018. Bowman mega boxes, then because everybody was chasing Otani.
Yep.
But other than that, like every other thing you could just get.
There was a rare case where I remember 2-3 years ago when Prism came out. That was the one blaster that you could buy and resell for more.
No, and that
everything else was like top series too. It's like it's what it's worth.
That was the real thing. There's always been one product.
Yes.
Every once in a while where you could do that.
Yep.
But not across the board, that wasn't a thing.
I mean, we had guys who unfortunately would go. This was even a couple months ago. They go in and buy everything Panini baseball, and I'd be like, I don't know. There's no markup. I mean, it is what it is,
Right.
So I'm curious to see how whatever news we get in July related to PSA, how that affects wax prices, silver prices. Also exciting news. I think this is actually the first official announcement that the National's happening.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot to talk about, but the actual email came out.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, that happened a month ago.
No, I don't.
What was the message a month ago?
The month ago message, I think, was the state of Illinois saying we're going to let conventions happening, and then now I think the National.
Assumed that just meant like
no, because I think part of it is the National still has the commitment of all the autograph guests.
I saw a guy do a video and I commented. I'm like, this is like a month old. What are you talking about?
And don't you think we're going to be mask free there? I would think we're going to be mask free too, right?
Well, as of right now, 50% of the United States is vaccinated with both shots.
I identify as someone vaccinated, so I'm.
No, I identify that way too.
Yeah.
And
which we can do that, right? We can.
Yeah, right.
And if you can identify as another gender, I can identify as being vaccinated.
And so, I mean, we're down to like 10,000 cases across country a day now, which Fauci, who, and it's in the political talk, but he had stated months ago that was when he would say that the pandemic was completely over, when it was 10,000 or less. Then it's just kind of a thing that's around.
Yep.
And so we're there, but of course, politically, we want to still ramp up the panic.
Yeah.
So, but I just,
there's
after
nothing
2 years, I
there's
don't know what to tell
nothing
you.
for government. There's nothing better for government than to gain control by fear.
Oh, absolutely. Fear is the best way to get
the only
anything
way.
done.
Most of the time, you won't give up your freedom unless you're afraid of something.
Right.
That you think you're going to be safe.
Right. You're just mad at them for doing stuff.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see if the same buzz around cards is at the national. I think actually one of the we had this conversation in the shop today. I think one of the reasons eBay is even slower right now is I think people are actually starting to save up for the nat. You know what I mean? There's this real thing of like.
Well, I mean, summer is slow. Summer is slow. But I don't think you're wrong because we talked about this before, and I was going to bring it up again. What I thought you were going to say.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of people at the National this year. A lot of people.
Yes.
Who've never been to National before.
Right.
And they have been hyping this up in their head.
Yes.
For 2 years, a year and a half.
Since the last Chicago.
And, well, not since the last Chicago, but since, like, maybe the beginning of the pandemic. And then they were going to go to the first one, and then they couldn't.
Yep.
And then now they're just, like, so ready to go. So it wouldn't surprise me if they are saving up.
And I'll say, from my experience, so at Canterbury just did away with, they had, like, plastic dividers at the poker table en masse. That all That all went away, like, last week. And the next day, I saw, like, 10 guys I know that I haven't seen since last year when they put them on.
Oh, they just won't play.
In other words, these people were like, it's not worth it. I'm not coming until it's normal, back to quote-unquote normal.
I told my wife that about putting Kirby into Taekwondo or Judo. I'm not doing it until the master.
Which is cool to me that, like, I think we'll be there for these shows.
I hope so.
I think there's a show this Saturday in Bloomington.
Yeah.
And I think it's mask free. So this will be the first one.
For me, this is a very micro thing. It's literally just, well, maybe not just me because there's a lot of older dealers.
Yep.
But at the National, if there's masks, I'm not going to be able to understand anybody.
Right.
With the background noise, it's just going to be a lot of, huh? What? What's he say? So it's going to be a lot of me looking at. So Max is going with his dad. What up, Max?
Max, what up?
And so Max is going to work the booth while he's there for some of the time. And it's going to be a lot of, what do you say? What do you say? I'm like, that's just not a great way of selling.
Right.
You know, it's constantly needing the 8th grader to tell you what the guy said.
Right. With
the mask on.
So that'd be good.
Last little bit. So I am up 400 followers on TikTok. What's up?
Nice.
I'm a star. So I'm hoping to be at 1,000 in a month.
Okay.
And then I can go live.
Okay.
And so hopefully we can kind of maybe get some TikTok people over to listen to the podcast somehow.
Let's TikTok it up, man. I don't even know what that means. But
what's up?
I know people are into it. It's like, is it better than Instagram?
I'll show it. I wouldn't say it's better. It's different.
It's got audio, right?
I stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
With Max's help. So, all right. I think we're good to go.
Have a great week, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.